Jess, makeup artist in Memphis, Tennessee, coming to you on whatever platform you're seeing me on, whether it's YouTube, IG, Facebook, might be LinkedIn, could be my website. You never know. Y'all have lint everywhere. But welcome back to me. This is going to be my first video of 2022, and I actually want to do some makeup with you. I'm thinking purple and red. I'm already feeling the love combination of colors and color blocking. Y'all can actually thank Savitra Turley, another dynamic makeup artist here in Memphis, for that color inspiration. After working with her on last night, and she did that on a client, I was like, hey, let's recreate on self and have an actual conversation with our audience that I have not engaged with in so long. So we're actually going to kick into this, get started with this base and working with some Danessa Myricks foundation. I actually got these. These are her neutral collection. I have them all in my beauty kit. So I'm going to use these on my skin on tonight. We're pretty much going to use foundation for everything, but let's get into it. So my skin is prepped and my face is primed, and I'm going to warm this up on the back of my hand. I'm actually using her shades N9 and N10. I'm going to blend them together, and with a stippling brush, I'm just going to begin applying those. They have a really neutral background, but it works on my skin, and it's also going to cancel out darkness, so there'll be no need for massive color correction, if you will. So one of the things I want to talk about is like restarting YouTube and, being inspired to get back on that platform. I actually started that platform a few years ago, and it was really stressful then. And I'll be honest with you, it's been stressful now, okay? It's been stressful now. Y'all see that match? That is a beautiful, beautiful product. It's been really stressful now, so I realized that I was looking at the YouTube journey and pretty much telling myself that because I didn't have all of the tech and gadgets and whatnot that other YouTubers have, that I might not be successful, and that's not the case. It's really important to just start, and I've really been challenging myself to get out of my head and out of my fear spots, the spaces that will hold me back and stop me from doing great things and having great momentum. I've really been challenging myself to get out of those areas when it comes to me doing things that I've really wanted to do for some time and just kind of lack the will, the zeal, or the tools, as I would say. And so now I'm going to kind of gradually get myself back in by creating content like this that allows me to take a moment, get my feet wet, and move at my own pace and know that what I'm doing is solid content and it works, And I was actually going into my next topic. I was on YouTube, and the YouTubers, they're often putting out content and inspiration surrounding age, and they're always talking about what they wish they had known when they were 20. And so I was having a conversation with someone yesterday, a friend of mine and colleague, and I was telling her that I see a lot of content surrounding what people wish they had known in their 20s, but me personally, I think that your 30s, I'm in my early 30s. I think your 30s is a fantastic place to be. I'm also a firm believer that there is just certain wisdom that you don't get and obtain unless you have a certain amount of hindsight, okay? And if you are unfamiliar with what I mean when I say hindsight, I mean having gone through stuff, okay? Listen, when you have lived a life of just going through things, which I have, I know what go through looks like all too well. When you have lived a life of just going through things, you view things a lot differently than the average individual would. And it's really important to have a a good way to deal with the everyday nuances of life, the things that can happen, that can be sparked. It's just because you kind of put yourself in a mode of that something is always going on, something is always going to happen. So the best thing that I can do for myself is to kind of like foolproof and prepare myself to go through something anyway. And that's not the best way to live, but it's kind of something that you do when you're always going through something. And as I came through my 20s, I've been through and been there and grown through that, is what I always say. I've been there and I've grown through that. Coming into my 30s now, I'm in a good space. I think that one of the best parts about 30 is also that the person that you couldn't foresee yourself to be in your 20s, you can now create her in your 30s. And it takes going through the things that you go through in your 20s to actually develop that woman. Seriously, I think that for 20-year-olds who get the opportunity to watch content like this, is going to be helpful. And it will stop them from making some tragic self mistakes that would create in them an individual that they may not be so pleased with. It will actually keep them on a pathway to creating a woman that they can be happy with. But if you're a woman like me in your early 30s, then you know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm saying when I say that it takes coming through your 20s to create the woman that you want to see. And we have a lot of inspiration out here in these social media streets. Truly we do. We have all kinds of luxury living to look at. We have all kinds of YouTubers to look at. We have all kinds of gurus to look at. You name it, the list goes on and on. But to me, there is nothing like becoming free in your mind concerning yourself that will allow you to create a woman and a life that you can truly be pleased with. And that's really all I'm after this day and time. Let's just say the truth. That's what I'm after this day and time. Creating a life and a woman that I can be pleased with. So, for those of you who are watching this process and you're wondering about this brush, a stippling brush is designed to give you an airbrush flawless finish. And y'all know I love that. That is what I built my first masterclass off of. Photo finish is all about creating an airbrush flawless base. And though this is not the technique that I taught in that class, it was still very effective. This is one of the tools that will help you get there the easy way. So if you do not have a stippling brush in your collection, get one. And if you notice, the tips are very feathery and very light so that you can move them around and meet the curves and angles of your face and just create a base that is absolutely beautiful. Let's get into highlighting contour. Okay, so let's get into these eyes. I went ahead and blushed and primed. I don't think I bronzed yet though. But on my eyes, I went ahead and applied some e.l.f. putty primer, and this one is in rose, so we get this kind of nice ashy texture on the eyelid. And I said purple and red, so I think some of you all are thinking ooh exotic, and I'm thinking ooh simple and pretty. That happens because I think Pinterest and the influencers have y'all a little turned around out here. So for me, in doing makeup, the base is what I do so much work on. Like, and when I say so much work, like the layers, the process, it's where it's at. And making sure that the makeup looks really natural and lays really well, and it feels really light. So even my own face is light enough to feel that nothing is on it, but I have all of the layers on, right? So then when I get to the eye makeup, because I'm a girl that absolutely adores a smoky eye, I keep it simple, but let's see what it's going to turn out to be tonight. So I'm going to go ahead, and because I put that primer on, I'm actually going to work my eye look a little bit in reverse and go in with my shimmer first, or my pop of color first. Let's see how it performs. Now, I'm not mad at it. I mean, the rose primer, and if you don't know, like, there's a difference between eye primer and using concealer. And an eye primer is designed really to work with, okay, let me explain it this way so I don't get you turned around. A concealer can base your eye, and yes, brighter concealers can give you color payoff. But what an eye primer is going to do is not break down the way concealers do, because your eyelids are pretty oily. Even if you crease only a little, there's still oils there. You still have lines there, and an eye primer is going to increase the longevity of your eye makeup. Where a concealer, depending on the product that you lay on top of it and the oiliness of your eyelids, it may not last too long. It's the best way I can really describe that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give a nice little build up here and go ahead and smoke that out. I'm going to bring that out some here. And depending on the shape of your eye, depends on how you'll actually structure color on your eye. So back to the topic at hand, because, you know, as I was kind of applying my powder and thinking, you know, I just thought about how even in this moment, having this conversation with those of you who will watch this piece of content, it's a moment of growth for me. Like, it's something that I hadn't been able to do, and I have a wonderful opportunity on the table for me that I hadn't really been able to tap into or connect with, because moments like this are needed to create that content. And I was struggling with just doing the thing. Overthinking is a beast, and it means us absolutely no good, sis. Like, seriously, overthinking, that's not the lifestyle for us. I like this purple. Like, that primer did a thing. That's really pretty, and the placement looks really good. And I have hooded eyes, right? So when I let my eyebrows down to relax themselves, and then you can see my nice hooded fold, what you want is to still be able to see the color payoff in the work that you've done. So it's good to do this portion, yes, with your eyebrows raised, but also lowered, because when that blanket of skin comes down, if it looks weird, it's just weird, and it's weird because it's actually weird. I know, weird, right? So if you let that fold happen, you can actually build upon the shape that you've created with what you got here. And get that color payoff. I'm gonna make sure I keep the color turned, because we're still depending solely on the product that's on the brush. I want to add to that, but what? Let's see. Because we're doing purple and red, and I really, really want this to give me a little bit of something more. Let's see if I can find another palette. Okay, now I said I wanted something more, and I have it. Okay, I just needed to do that and get that out of my system. But what I did was I went into my Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, Norvina, and I used the rose gold. And in light of Danessa Myricks, I used her metal in Daydreaming, and I'm thinking of you. And I got that beautiful iridescent blue that you are seeing. So now we need to get these lips on, and I told you we were doing a red lip, so let's get into it. We will be using the Color Potion Cosmetics lipstick in shade number 6. I think it's a 6 or it's a 9, but it's Color Potion Cosmetics, which is a local brand right here in the city of Memphis, and we will be pairing that with Pat McGrath's Perfect Red and Elson 2. So let's get into the lip vibe. So I see why they started the center. It's like, if you're not careful, you get an accumulation of color there. Okay, and get you a pretty line around your lip. And let's now add Pat McGrath for a finishing touch. Every time I have to do that to like warm and blend my lipstick, it tickles me. But tell me that that is not the perfect red, okay? And let's take a Q-tip right in there. Just like that. Okay, and so this is the finished look. This is it. This is purple and red for me. Y'all, I'm really excited about this with your eyes again. And now the pout. So, just a few products to remember. Check them out. Color Potion Cosmetics. Please go and check out Pat McGrath. Her product is absolutely amazing. She is a world-renowned black makeup artist who is laying the foundation for so many of us. Check out Danessa Myricks, another world-renowned black makeup artist that I look up to her work. I absolutely adore Danessa. She has to be, like, according to her videos, one of the sweetest individuals you'll ever meet, and her product is grade A quality. I enjoyed putting together this piece of creativity, and I appreciate each of you that has gone on the journey of this first recording of the year with me. I know that it was really chatty, like I'm being chatty right now, but you know, that always happens when you're kind of trying to feel your way, but I still wanted to have a conversation that would be meaningful and that others could resonate with, because I know that some of you are sharing the same exact thoughts, or some of you have been thinking in a certain direction, and a conversation like what I had about developing yourself, self-development basically, and thinking for yourself about who you want to be and what you want that woman to look like. These are pivotal conversations that we need to have, and I believe in having those conversations candidly, not just sugarcoating or fluffing or saying things as in always trying to give you the tips, but really to have the conversation in light of like, yo, this is really what's going on mentally and emotionally. And we know that we're going to deal with it, but it still exists and it still has to be put out there so that it can be dealt with. That's the only way you build a version of you that you can fall in love with, making those bold movements. So that's what I'm doing this season, this time. And for those of you that are taking a journey with me, I hope that as you follow me on moments like this, that the journey gets a little bit easier, knowing that there's someone in your same age bracket or industry regard, or someone that is just like you, that you can look at and say, yo, she said it, and she's doing it, it's possible. So I appreciate each and every one of you, because without you, I would not have a need to be here doing this particular thing. So I appreciate you for being here for the duration of this video. I do hope you like the look. If you have any questions about any of the products, drop it down below. If you like the look, hit me with an emoji down below. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, get on the email list, get on the text list, go to my website, check out what I do. Whatever it is that you see me having a party in, come be a part in it with me. I would appreciate that. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna go, and until next time, stay great and stay beautiful.